But Agassi, he loves a good target.
And there, if you hit an approach shot that big, you owe it to yourself to make the guy pass you. I mean, Agassi, that was almost a sideways passing shot. Looked bizarre, but for him, it's almost normal. But still, got to make him do it. If he does it 50 times, that's too good.
Tough. Yeah.
Let's go down to Andrea Joyce with a special guest.
All right, Tim, I'm with the recording artist Seal, and as Mary Carrillo mentioned earlier today, he's a friend of Boris Becker's, a big tennis fan. How did you guys get to be buddies?
We met about a year and a half ago at Palm Springs, and he's a fan of my music too, so I was pleasantly surprised when I met him.
You took Boris and his wife Barbara to the MTV Music Video Awards. Do you feel some kind of connection with him? I understand that Barbara thinks that you two are a little bit alike.
Well, yeah, Barbara says so, but I think there was similar parallels between tennis players and recording artists. In any case, I think you'll find most recording artists are frustrated tennis players and vice versa.
Well, you're in the ATP Tour box. I know you're a huge tennis fan. I saw you hugging Jim Courier out on the grounds. You're going to be doing some work with them as well, right?
Don't tell Boris that. What did you say?
So you're doing some work for the ATP as well?
That's right.
Helping to promote tennis?
Yeah, well, I think it's important. I think anything I can do to improve the image of tennis at present is going to be a good thing.
All right, we'll see you out on the courts. Thanks a lot. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Andrea. 15:30, Agassi serving here in game number 5. And my question for John McEnroe is, are you included in this group of frustrated musicians?
Well, hopefully not too much longer, but at the moment, I'm trying to become one.
Well, we'll assume that Seal is one of those frustrated athletes.
He's actually pretty good.
Players.
He's a big guy. That's not necessarily mean he can play at all, but it's a start.
I've seen him play, actually. He's not bad. And he'll be providing music in a video that's going to come out next year about the men's tour.
I tell you, these two guys came out ready to play today.
And 2 break points for Becker.
No wasting time in this match. See if Becker tries to come right in on this second serve. I'd like to see a replay of that forehand to see how he does it. I don't know how he hits a shot so. That's just an incredible forehand.
You told him to pull those cameras in. So the cameras on the floor.
Ball nice and low for him, but still, there's got to be a lot of power and excellent time in that racket to pull across court that hard. These are shots you didn't see even 5-10 years ago in tennis.
When people talk about how the new technology makes the serve and volleyers untouchable, I really feel the other way. I think it's the ground strokers, the counterpunchers who get more out of the new technology. I just don't think you could create those kind of strokes off the ground 5-10 years ago. Didn't come in on a good enough shot, Becker, and he paid the price.
In the first game, you remember, he missed a backhand volley. Now the third game, he's had a couple stretches and near misses. Put some pressure on Agassi. Once again, he was there. That could be the dive again, Tim, we're waiting for.
And John, you tell me, if you put a wooden racket in both these guys' hands, who would be more affected? I think Agassi would be hurt more by a wooden racket than Boris Becker. Because Becker's going to serve big with anything. But I'm not convinced Agassi can create all the ground strokes he can with a wooden racket.
I'd like to see it. I'll tell you, I'd like to see that match.
You think we can stop it right now and
Let's
hand
get
them
some,
a couple?
yeah, let's go get a couple of old wood rackets. Tell you, when the Agassi would still have big groundies. Times the ball so well, sees the ball so early.
struggled, but he held again and leads 3-2. Welcome back to the National Tennis Center on the stadium court. Andre Agassi, defending champion, leads Boris Becker 3-2 in the first set of the second semifinal. Pete Sampras awaits the winner in tomorrow's championship match here on CBS.
15.
Boris Becker has had 5 break opportunities and failed in all of them. Agassi has had 1 break point and was unable to convert, so we're on serve. 2-3 in the first.
Again, Becker not coming in behind a good enough approach shot. It's a good little return from Agassi that made Becker volley up. He's got to come in, though. I mean, once you've committed to come in behind that serve, it's hard to stop this body from going forward. Great little stab there.
Wow.
And again, it's because he was going forward. He didn't rethink the serve and think, well, maybe that was, he got too good a piece of it. He came on in and made a nice little stick save.
Boris Becker's athletic ability underrated. He's a big guy like a middle linebacker, but he knows when to stretch. Greatest player to me, along with Mats Wilander, that I've ever seen play. When you see guys like Sampras who are super talented, Agassi super talented. Becker was physically, I don't think, in that level, some of the other players, but mentally, playing the big points, knowing when to pick his spots.
That's Barbara Becker. A not untypical pose during the tennis match. Okay, it's time to look now. It's all right to look. He said game Becker. 3-all. We're even at 3.
Here, Agassi had plenty of time there. Becker guessed right. Agassi kept it up too high. Even if you guess right, you should keep that pass low. Appears so far Becker a little bit more comfortable out there, doing the things that he wants to do. Agassi still looks a little uncomfortable.
He got it.
Stayed down nicely for that backhand. Got over there, prepared nice and early. Becker should follow that ball more down the line. He came to the center of the court. Should have been more over towards the line. Agassi saw the open. Boris, like Pete Sampras, likes to try to line up that running forehands or dare his opponent to go over. That leaves it open a little bit. That time missed it up the line. Easiest game Andre's had on the serve.
Yeah.
Needed a breath of fresh air. Little confidence builder.
Love game for Andre Agassi. 4-3 in the first. Ear muscle. Agassi leading 4-3 first set. Boris Becker serving. Best of 5 semifinal. Eric Lindros, one of the great young defensemen in the National Hockey League.
Offenseman, not defenseman. He doesn't play defense.
You're right. Well,
and I shouldn't say that because he might get questioned. Good all-around player.
great forward. You're dead right. Big guy.
I'll tell you,
Looks like it.
He's a huge guy when he's on skates. It's the only guy I've ever seen make Messier look like a human being. One of the greatest hockey players I ever saw, Mark Messier, by the way. Boris Becker with ace number 5 now. A couple big serves there. probably the worst shot, or one of the worst, easily, that Boris is hitting the mash.
He's been pretty tight. Only had a couple of loose shots so far through 7 games.
There was that one drop volley that he tried. I think that one there, just a little bit lazy. Just want to give Agassi a chance. Suddenly, Agassi get a couple second serves, crush a few returns, and you find yourself down break point. Big second serve return. Boris has got to make sure, along with all other players, but especially him, with his big feet, keep those feet moving. Don't get stuck. Another reason why it's so important for him, I think, to chip and charge sometimes, to come into net just so for his sake, forgetting whether or not it has anything to do with the player.
Just to keep the point short.
Keep the legs moving, though. I mean, he doesn't want to get flat-footed. There's the 30-40 now after that lazy 30-love point.
Crowd into this break opportunity for Agassi, just his second so far.
Now, normally what Becker will do is, okay, stand back and hit one of his big bombs just to show that he can turn it on when he'd like. Let's see if he can do it here against Agassi. Here we go. Typical Becker game.
Ken Rosewall and his wife Wilma watching on.
Still yet to come over a backhand in his life.
Never had to.
Ace number 6. It'll be interesting to see if Boris Becker gets out of this game, because he has played it a little bit too loosely. A couple of big unforced errors. Very important point of the match. Man, 126, his biggest serve of the match. Gets him out of trouble.
You know, when you play Becker, you're going on a roller coaster ride. That's for sure. Emotionally, physically, every which way. You never know with this guy. That's why he's so exciting to watch. I'm not talking only about the fans, but his opponents, people in his entourage.
Whoa. Huge return from Agassi. Back to deuce.
Get the idea Becker would try to get that first serve in. Agassi steps in early for that kicking second serve. Agassi does that better than anyone in the men's game. Monica Seles does it better than anyone in the women's game. That returner serve is blistering. By the way, I think I've heard her say she tries to copy Andre Agassi, if I'm not mistaken.
You're right.
Not a bad guy to try to emulate.
I don't think Becker has seen this kind of pace from the baseline in his earlier matches in this tournament.
Well, that's the problem playing Agassi. You don't see it against anybody.
Right. So Boris's volleys, it
for
strikes me at least, or he's having a little trouble, keeping them in, keeping them on line against that tremendous drive.
Actually, you'll have to prepare a little bit earlier than you normally would. The way to counteract that is perhaps volley a foot or two back further than you would against a normal player.
Great stuff from Becker to save the breaker.
Both players hitting high-quality shots here. Becker was stranded there in no man's land, that area between the service line and the baseline. Was able to recover there with that big-time stab.
And comes up with another big service.
Agassi says of Becker, he says, you never want to let anybody back in the match, but with Becker, he's so experienced, he knows how to win. If you let him back, he's going to take the gift and say, thank you.
Two of those for Becker. Pete Sampras is expecting to see Andre Agassi in the championship. He told the press after his win earlier, I think Andre and I are going to do some battle. I see him winning this match today and just have a chance to beat the best player in the world. I guess he said that with a smile.
Becker with his hardest serve of the match. Dead up the middle. Absolutely no chance for any human being.
So Becker hangs in, avoiding the break. Still on serve at 4-all in the first set. Pete Sampras. Becker thought it was wide. He's had a couple of comments for the chair umpire, Wayne McEwen, since the first or second point of the match. I think it was the first point of the match.
First point.
Yeah.
He didn't forget.
It was an overrule by McEwen. It looked like it was long. Agassi, you see, gesturing. He thought that was long, but he won the point anyway.
They're missing calls all over the place.
Boy, it's 2 against 1 now. Both players.
The players are a fraternity.
It's always wrong. It's too fast.
Man, chair umpire's getting it from both sides literally here.
It's rare that you see a chair umpire double teamed on the same call.
Right. Agassi at 40 love. We get the 5-4 here in the first. Agassi holds at love. 5 games to 4 first set. And we'll be back in a moment after this look at another of the exciting new faces in tennis. Won the women's championship against Monica Seles. Boris Becker serving at 4-5. And the
same net guy in the Sampras Courier.
Yeah, and he just got nailed this time, I think.
Each side of the face.
This guy's a gamer.
This poor guy is.
He is a gamer.
Now that's one up I almost feel sorry for.
You're brutal.
That's why we should eliminate that leg court.
Ace number 9 for Boris Becker. He needed 5 aces just to get out of his last service game.
Stan Smith been at the tournament frequently.
We know who's behind him too. Jaime Fiol. His pass showing right next to Stan.
Jaime, great Chilean player. His time. Solid down the line from Becker. And an easy game at love. Jean Matutsumi Ashe, widow of Arthur Ashe, here on Super Saturday in her box with some guests. Guillermo Vilas.
Won the U.S. Open the last year. It was played on clay at Forest Hills.
Doesn't want to give Agassi easy service games. That's going to help Agassi's confidence, allow him to take even more chances with that return, which he does already.
Well, he's got a second serve here to work with. And he mishits.
Decided a little bit too late what he wanted to do there. Only a split second, but that was enough. Normally likes that inside-out backhand return. He's very strong there. He can hold it. That's why he likes that down the line backhand as well. That was a lazy one.
Yeah. So Agassi again at love. 6-5 here in the first set. See. So far, a replay of the Sampras Courier match through the first set. 6-5. Andre Agassi leading Boris Becker. Sampras broke Courier at this stage of the first set. In the match earlier today, Becker will serve to force the tiebreak.
Again, the high kicking net cord you get here. And one of the reasons this sits up as it does is look at the net posts. They're inside of the doubles alley. So you people at home who play on normal courts, you don't have that kind of situation. Because the new net posts are that many more inches closer to each other, the net can stay tighter. And because of that, because of this situation here, you also see so many great shots running, run-around shots around the net. I've seen more great running shots around the net post into the court in this stadium than anywhere. Part of the reason is you get so much better traction on a hard court. You can't do it on grass. You can't do it on clay as easily as you can do it on this hard court. And then the fact that you've got a little less net to work with makes for some spectacular shot making.
This was really an excellent point from Becker here. First his scoop here on the half volley, handled that nicely. Then he saw the position with Agassi, and he actually took a couple steps back. He saw Agassi wasn't going to try to crush it. He knew he could just defend it no matter what he did.
Serve right at him, and we're into the tiebreak. Tiebreak first set. First to win 7 points out of 12, but you must win by 2. Agassi will serve once, and then the serve will go to Becker for 2, and they'll alternate 2 the rest of the way. Head-to-head in tie breaks, Becker leads 4 times to 3.
That dropped in. Once again, I think Andre Agassi a little bit surprised that Becker staying with him here in this first set. He felt good, he said before the match, figured he would, as usual, get off to a very quick start. That really hasn't taken place. He started reasonably well, but Becker's been ready. Being able to pick up the pace on serve when necessary. Very, very close first set.
Patented Agassi return.
Brad Gilbert trying to spur Andre Agassi on, and that is one of the great shots in tennis right there. Two-hander cross court, unparalleled. Maybe my brother's in that league when he gets going. Chang's got a very good return when he steps in, too. This guy is the best.
Becker watched an awful lot of those from Patrick Macro in the last round before finally beating him in about 4 hours.
Sure why they'd want to have the nets so tight, or why they don't try to do that uniform all around the world, especially at the Grand Slam events, just because it's closer. I don't. Maybe they think it'll make it more exciting because it bounce up higher. I really don't have an explanation, but it should be the same anywhere they play, presumably. Make something the same somewhere. 3 solid points from Andre Agassi. 3-1 Agassi. Saw Becker was off balance. Saw he was going to have to hit that slice back in. Knew all he had to do was cut this off nicely and hit to the open court. Kept his eye on the ball right until it hit his racket.
Agassi. Two serves coming to Boris Becker. He lost both points the first time he served in the tiebreak. Not that time. 11 aces for Boris Becker. Big one there. He'll change ends now at 6 points.
Here's another guy with a beautiful classic motion, that big knee bend. It's tough on your knees, I would suspect. Tough on the legs. Does a lot of thrusting off those.
That's why the ball is so heavy. He gets all of that great body. He gets all that rotation from the hips and the shoulders, starting with the knee bend. So even a serve of Becker's that's in the 90s feels heavier. John, I remember for a while you talking about the Becker serve as the biggest one you faced at the time.
In the mid-80s, without a doubt.
Not true any longer?
I think his serve is very, very good. It's not the biggest. I think when Ivanisevic gets going, maybe a Mark Rosset at times, Richard Krajicek, but Becker's certainly in the top 5 or 10, clearly. Michael Steke's got a big serve as well. And a bad and unfortunate time to miss-hit that backhand for Boris Becker there.
5-3 Agassi. 2 serves to come to him.
And this is a key point for Boris, I should say. 5-3 down. Agassi with 3 set points. A tall task to come back from that. That's a surprising play there. Agassi's very quick, especially on a court where the footing's this good. You have to hit almost a perfect shot to win that point. Agassi hit this one-handed, so he can do it with 2 or 1. He kept his cool there beautifully under pressure. 3 set points.
Saved one. The second serve. Just long from Agassi.
lot of people feel Agassi's backhand return is better than his forehand. So even though that appeared to be a low percentage play, that may be the play. If you can get some into the body, which is easier said than done because Agassi moves out of the way so quickly and he doesn't need much backswing. Over the forehand, sometimes that's clearly what he has to do. Well, Agassi's not going to miss a whole lot either from that side.
There's the set for Andre Agassi in the tiebreak. Well, he is a musician. That's our John McEnroe howling at the moon. Look at that. What a sight. Is that the sun or the moon at this time of night? Yeah, that's the sun about to drop over there on the west. Now I've got the camera angle. We haven't got a moon up there yet. It's not too far away. Past 6 o'clock Eastern time, and Boris Becker down a set now, losing the tiebreak. Agassi has a well-deserved reputation as a good front runner. He's 29-1 in U.S. Open action after winning the first set. His only loss was to Ivan Lendl in the 1988 semifinal. I don't imagine that's foremost in Becker's mind, but he knows he has his work cut out for him now, down a set. He can draw on his success at Wimbledon last time they met.
What's foremost on his mind right now is getting more first serves in, serving up his third double, making sure he doesn't let Agassi start grooving on that second serve. He's done a good job for the most part in the first set. 63% is good for Boris Becker. You see he won 82% when he did. The second serve points the problem there. 37. That's not too many.
Yeah, he's above his tournament average on first serve. He came into this match at 56% for 5 matches played.
That's a good improvement. And you see how tough it is. He still lost the set 7-6.
I think Becker's in more trouble losing the first set on this hard court than he is at Wimbledon. I mean, he draws strength from center court at Wimbledon. He claims that is where he was born. The grass is much better suited to his game.
Great reaction there by Becker.
Becker said something after he lost to Pete Sampras for Pete's third straight Wimbledon title. Becker said, this used to belong to me, this tournament. Now it belongs to Pete.
Becker made a nice reaction. Agassi with the pass just missed up the line.
No breaks of serve yet.
Agassi still with a break point here. Becker's serve good enough to hold on.
Unusual for Agassi. He let that ball play him a little bit. Waited on it a touch. Becker likes to kick that ball up high to the backhand, and Agassi caught a little bit late. When he realized he had done that, he tried to pull it cross court. It went too much. I'm sure if he gets another backhand, you'll see a quick adjustment. Shorten it up just a touch and move forward. Instead tries to run around the backhand, hits the forehand in the net. Bit of a break here for Becker.
Advantage Becker. So Becker holds on for 1-love here in the second, down a set. We're back live
Wait, please.
from the National Tennis Center. Let's go to Andrea Joyce.
All right, Tim, I just spoke to Brad Gilbert, and he thinks that Andre needs to pick up the pace from the baseline. He says that Boris looks a little slow to him out there. He also thinks that Andre needs to make Boris work a little harder. He says that Andre's not attacking Boris's first serve quite enough. Back to you guys.
Brad Gilbert, the Agassi guru. Thank you, Andrea. Agassi had only 3 unforced errors in the first set. Becker had 21. It didn't seem like that. Becker had that many.
He's a tough coach. He's telling he wants Agassi to attack Becker's first serve.
Brad Gilbert took on Andre Agassi in March of last year when he was ranked in the 30s.
I'd sure like to get Agassi when he was in the 30s. That'd be hard to imagine that he'd be that low.
Well, he came into last year's U.S. Open unseeded because he was ranked 20 in the world. He beat 4 seeds: Wayne Pereira, Michael Cheng in 5, Thomas Musser, Todd Martin, and then he beat the number 4 seed in the final, Michael Stich. This year he hasn't played any seeds. The guys who are in his part of the draw went away. Andre Medvedev lost early, Wayne Pereira lost early, and Yevgeny Kafelnikov, who beat Agassi in the quarterfinals of the French Open this year, he lost to Vince Spadea of the U.S.
Big serve from Agassi. 40-30.
Agassi says the difference between being unseeded and winning it last year and being seeded first this year, he says it's like stepping on landmines.
And Agassi holds almost casually.
Becker looking a touch despondent at the moment. He's well in this match, obviously 7-6-1. He probably figures he should have won that first set with the opportunities he had, especially early, to break Agassi's serve. And he knows he's got a long way to go, and that might have him a little bit mentally down right now. He's computing in his mind, how long am I going to be out here? What's that going to do for my chances tomorrow? You know, in the back of his mind, he's thinking a little about that. I know you don't think so, Tim.
I didn't say that. I didn't say anything.
You had that look in your eye, like,
well,
how could he be thinking about the finals when he's playing Agassi?
I was absorbing your thought, but it does make sense.
It was a reverie of yours that we mistook for total disagreement.
Where's the dictionary? Quick. Becker with ace number 12. We'd love to get more of those first serves in. Keep the percentage up at 63. This match will remain very close.
Four double faults now.
I saw Pete Sampras do some of that today. Serve up the ace and throw in the double. And he got involved in a closer match than he wanted today. A couple points here or there. Jim Courier could have been in the finals. We saw Jim Courier, as a matter of fact, hit a number of those today against Pete Sampras. That forehand cross court with a little dip. And Andre Agassi possesses that shot as well.
2 break points.
Agassi with only 5 unforced errors. That ball caught the line. Even though it seems like only a few close points here and there may change a match, sometimes what goes on throughout the match, you know, I saw Jim after, and he felt like Pete was in charge through the match, and when you get those few chances, you don't really feel like you deserve them in a way. Look at Becker with 2 big serves, once again getting him out of trouble. Somehow you got to be allowed, as Boris Becker hits his ace number 13, to put the fact that you're not seemingly in charge out of your mind, and you can win a couple big points. You can do it.
Wow. One way to keep the ball off the racket of a great returner is fire those aces consecutively. And he's got the ad.
I hadn't finished my thought. He had 3 aces. It's another big serve. This time Agassi with the answer, the low return.
I think Becker will be in trouble if he continues to have to make first volleys from about the middle of the court. That means that Agassi is winning the return battle. And that time Becker was well inside the service box.
But don't you think, Mary, if he has a clean look at it, Agassi, and can hit it clean, that's where Becker's going to end up volleying it. But he's got to tell himself, I've got to hit good volleys from behind the service line.
Yes.
He's not used to it. Agassi only did that 4 times. Or hope that Agassi just barely gets it back like he did that last serve.
Great point. 3 great shots. Lots of them by Becker. He scrapes through and holds on. CBS Sports coverage of the U.S. Open Tennis Championships continues after this word from your local station. Defending champion Andre Agassi had 1-2 here in the second. He won the first set over Boris Becker in the tiebreak. And he's 15 love. Cleaning his own court there every time he misses one, too. The ball boys are doing stutter steps. Just let him have that one. 15 all. Double fault.
Only the first. It's really amazing when you think about it. These guys between them have had a look at 12 break points. And they're 0 for 12 collectively, considering that they both have such good return games. It says a lot about how well. Wow, 2 in a row. It says a lot.
Now he missed them short, all 4 of them. How do you figure that, John?
You're letting the ball drop a little bit too low, and also he sometimes rushes. You know,
yeah.
Between first and second serve, you lose your thought process just a little bit. Next thing you know, 15-30. Just like that, it's an ace. Well, I think he got up a little bit better to this one. Caught the outside of the line, or maybe smacked on it. That's where he wants Becker on the run, especially on the backhand side. Boris Becker is not known for his quickness around the court. He can cover a lot of ground being a big guy. He knows when to pick his spots, when to try to turn it on physically. Extended once in this tournament. That was against my brother Patrick. He had 2 days to recover. Played that match on Wednesday, so he should be fine. Total missed it off that return.
So Agassi, despite 2 double faults, even things at 2 all.
I felt like Pete that game, man. Where did that come from?
Saying I felt like Pete. Pete Sampras, who gets himself out of trouble.
But also because he served up a couple doubles the way Pete did today.
Yeah.
He's trying to bring Pete down so he can be. See, Tim, he's thinking about tomorrow. You see? He's trying to sack himself in case he plays Pete.
A number of times Sampras got himself out of serving trouble, and Courier remarked on it after the match. He did feel like he had his chances.
Becker once again guessing well and topping it off with a nice lunge. Not only you have to guess well, you have to hit the shot. Agassi kept that a little bit too high. You have to assume the guy's going to guess right. Then make your shot. So if you keep it low, at least he's not going to put away the volley the way Boris did there. Just like Boris has to assume that's going to go over, which is easier said than done, because right when he hit, he saw it. He said, oh, most likely go in the net, but you got to try to cover it anyway. Agassi actually in front of that return, expecting a more heat. Becker with the off-speed pitch.
100-mile-an-hour off-speeder. That says a lot about Becker. But yeah, obviously the speed of the ball surprised Agassi. Look at that. Man, that's not a bad second serve either.
I've got Andre's pattern down here.
What is it, Tim?
He tucks the shirt on the return and he hangs it over the shorts when he serves. I've been trying to pick this up through the tournament, and I think it's crucial to the way he's been playing here.
It's crucial to that backhand return.
Becker 3-2 in the second set.
Becker leads 3-2.
You're looking at Stadium Court live here on CBS. Coverage of the U.S. Open's men's semifinal between Andre Agassi, the defending champion, and Boris Becker. Becker up 3-2 in the second set. Andre Agassi won the first.
Frankly, I thought I'd see more rallying of that nature. Both big sluggers from the baseline. Not a lot of that. Serve dictating a lot of plays tonight. And what happens off the returner serve. So we haven't seen many extended rallies. Both players clearly capable of doing it. Not something I think Becker wants to do too often, however.
So long.
He just got it. I'm not sure.
Fifth ace.
It's right there.
Further than that, Boris.
Becker obviously thinking it was long. That was Cyclopean, was it not? It was in the range.
Oh, it was very Cyclopean, yes. If it was out, it was about an inch or so. But an inch is still an inch. And the mark does come up, so.
40 love.
Becker trying to chip in charge here, but Agassi just ripped this backhand return cross court. I mean, this is picture perfect. Gets in early preparation, puts the body weight forward, pulls it cross court for winner. Tops it off with an easy service game.
That cross-court rip of Andre Agassi's, that was a 65-mile-an-hour backhand. It's got a little bit of pace on it. But more than that, it's Agassi meeting the ball early, keeping it low. That's rushing Becker, especially on these returns.
Love. 15 love. Becker at 3-all here in the second set.
And I know Becker's got a big serve and Andre's serve's improved, but still surprised no breaks of serve as of yet. Nice volley there. Becker likes to hit that inside-out backhand volley as well.
Breaking through the clouds to bring you an overview of New York and the tennis center here in Flushing Meadows. The great green Fuji blimp. On the fly, Andre Agassi.
Well, he catches the outside of the line of that pass. That's the one edge Becker clearly has, is that big booming serve. You know, Agassi hits some as hard. It just appears and feels like Becker's first serve more dominating. The bigger man.
15 aces for Boris. Another big serve. 4 games to 3. Becker in the second set.
Becker leads 4-3.
On serve in the second set. On serve in the match, for that matter. The only differential, the tiebreak won by Andre Agassi in set 1. 15. John, what's Boris Becker got to do to break Andre?
He got a break there. Agassi with unforced error. So, I mean, and this may sound like a broken record, but I think it would be a good time to try to attack, put some pressure on Andre. But clearly now at love 30, if he gets a second serve, try to come in on it, make Agassi hit some winners.
If you joined us along the way, Pete Sampras advanced past Jim Courier to the championship match, and Steffi Graf defeated Monica Seles in a thriller.
And Graf proceeded to be doused by beer when she went back up into the women's locker room.
Those women.
Is that a woman thing, Mary?
That's definitely a chick thing. It sounds to me like it's her best buddy Renee Stubbs of Australia hitting the suds on her.
And I don't know why Becker decided to run around that backhand. He's got a good inside-out backhand. Made things more difficult for him there. Agassi gave him the first 2 points. It's a big chance for Boris here. Agassi follows out with a big serve out wide when he needed. Agassi putting a little bit extra on it out wide.
Love 30 went away.
And Becker knows he's not going to get a lot of chances like that. Had some nice composure there. Took his time. Made sure he got a good, nice first serve into play. That looked a lot harder than 95 miles per hour. Nonetheless, got himself in front of Boris with that big serve. Was able to put away that easy forehand. Big game after love 30.
Throws in an ace to even things at 4. He has a set in hand.
That hole gave me chills, man.
That was long.
15. A very high defensive lob hoisted up by Agassi.
It's a good effort to run that down. It hit the big return. I think he half expected Becker not to get the volley back. Good recovery here. Now he can turn things right around after being down love 30. Second serve chance at love 15.
Miss it like that.
And the Agassi entourage trying to tell him, hey, it's good that you went for it. Keep going for it.
Yeah, he's gone into his Gabby mode here too, with his friends in the box and the microphone over there and the camera. Becker just plowing along here. Only difference in the match so far. First set tiebreak won by Agassi. No breaks of serve. See, there's the service return tuck of the t-shirt. An ace will do it. 5-4, Boris Becker in the second set.
Becker leads. Seats quickly, please.
Andre Agassi will serve at 4-5 up a set. We're in the second set on serve as we have been through the match, and Andre Agassi serving at 73% first serve in this second set, so he hasn't given Becker much to whack at.
Both players have served extremely well today.
7 aces now for Agassi.
And that's really been the story of the match so far. Both players having problems getting anything going. Haven't had enough looks. Agassi with the clear edge this set in terms of chances. Becker had those early chances in the first set. Both players, as you can see, if they serve over 60%, it's very tough to break either one of these guys.
And Agassi is winning 75% of the points on his second serve. So a very cleanly served game again by Andre Agassi. 5-all.
That's a very, very high percentage of points on the second serve, 75. It's hard to imagine being broken if that's the case. Which explains why we may be headed for another tiebreaker. Haven't seen too many of those today. Total miss from Becker there. Likes to take that big swing on the forehand side, so you do see that a couple times a match with him.
It's got nothing to do with this time of the day, does it, John? I mean, the lights are on. There's still some daylight left.
I never had a problem under the lights. I don't think it's a problem for either player. Really picked up Agassi's passing shots quite well today. Hasn't been fooled very often at all.
15-all.
But when you realize that both these guys were coached for a couple of years, more than a couple on Andre's part, by the same coach, he spent a lot of time explaining to each one of them how to play the other. Nick Bollettieri now with the extremely talented Mark Philippoussis of Australia, who gave Pete Sampras just about all he wanted a couple of rounds ago.
The young Philippoussis got a whole team of coaches now that Nick has joined. His father and Tony Roach, John Newcomb, all involved with that exciting young Australian. Just 18 years old, made quite a mark here against Pete Sampras in a losing effort last weekend. 40-15.
Ultimately, these players have to go out there and pick up at the last instant where they think the ball is going, irrespective. Yeah, right, I learned what they were told earlier. Thanks, David Dinkins.
And also
almost
regardless.
Did it again.
You know, it looked like it did sink onto the line. Becker obviously disagrees.
Do something once!
I thought I got the line from here.
chair umpire weighed in that he thought it was on the line as well. And it did look like it kind of just took a big downer right there. A lot of top on it.
I don't know. I'm not sure that was big enough. It looked a little long to me when I first saw it hit. And Andre was walking to the sideline. Boris was walking as well. Didn't get another angle.
Yeah, even Agassi knew he'd missed that one.
For me, just one.
Boris Becker gave it to the chair umpire, but without any obscenities, but just displayed his anger. He did win the final point in the game. 6 games to 5. Agassi now serving at 5-6, trying to force a tiebreaker here in the second. Thank you.
Becker definitely gave Wayne McEwen the business on that last changeover, but Agassi's coach Brad Gilbert says you got to get this guy talking German. That's when you know
he's upset. Well, it was all English.
That could not have been more perfectly timed.
15-all.
More beautifully struck.
You said it, Mary. Hit it right on the money. Step forward, all the body weight. Just perfect.
That's all. Thirteen, 15.
Agassi continuing to serve big.
9 aces. Tiebreak again.
6-all, second set tiebreak.
First to 7 wins a tiebreak. Out of 12, must win by 2. Becker will serve once. And Agassi twice, and they'll alternate until the conclusion.
Agassi figured if I keep the return low, sooner or later I'm going to get a break. Becker's not going to guess right. Becker, you see, left a little bit too early there. Agassi picked up on it in an instant and pulled it cross court for a winner.
Mini break to Agassi.
Got himself in a little bit of trouble there, but was able to recover because Becker didn't do enough with that backhand volley. So plenty of time to set up, decide what he wanted to do. Stay down nice and low, pull it cross court for 2 love lead.
He looks faster than Becker. I mean, he is faster. He takes the corners so well. He doesn't have as much bulk
He can stop faster.
Stops faster, turns better.
And Becker that time miscalculated that running forehand. You can see he sort of was trying to line it up, and at the last second realized he was there. Didn't have it timed the way he'd like. Love 3. Bad break for both players. Cyclops going off. Becker does not get a first serve, however. And I must agree with Boris in that case, because that was clearly not his doing, and he was about to serve, so it clearly disrupted his second serve. He should have gotten a first serve. It's bad break for Agassi if it happened, but I mean, it clearly threw Becker off for a couple seconds, and he was about ready to serve, and he couldn't.
Led to his 5th double fault, and he's 0-4.
I don't think he...
In a normal match in another week, I get 2 balls if it's a beef after the first serve. I don't go. I wasn't in my motion, sure.
Well, Becker obviously feeling identically to your description, John, that he should have received 2 serves.
Got off his 18th ace.
Agassi calmly fires another of his own, number 8.
Answers back with his 10th.
10th, pardon me. 5-1 in the tie break. They'll change ends here.
Agassi has had one of the best serving days I've ever seen him have.
Not a bad place to have it. Semifinal U.S. Open in defense of your crown.
And in fact, a lot of the serving practice he's done was in reaction to losing his serve at Wimbledon against Becker, being up a set in a break.
The fact that he was upset in 2 breaks, he said to myself, I got to improve my serve.
That's right.
If I can lose from that position, and he clearly has. We haven't seen much of that today. Pays off at 5-1 down. There's still a hope. 6-1 down would have been too much, but 5-2 is still a glimmer of hope.
Becker had to play 3 tiebreak sets in his last match, the quarters against Patrick McEnroe. In his second here in this match. Big return again from Agassi. 4 set points for Andre Agassi, already up a set. With a little help as a 2-set lead in 2 tiebreaks.
Enough already in the state. And if you make calls in the last 2 hours, the first serve I make on the 9, you're all good. You have given 1 point on my way. I was in my motion on my second serve when the beaver started. Of course you didn't think about it. Man, don't you know I know what's going on? Jesus Christ.
A nice relaxing changeover for Becker.
Now they're doing battle again. That was obviously on tape during the changeover. Into the 3rd set we go.
Perhaps giving the chair umpire a piece of his mind, inventing like that will help Boris Becker, but it surely didn't help Michael Stich against Agassi in last year's U.S. Open final. He too thought that all the calls were going the Americans' way, and I think Boris Becker can be kind of paranoid about that stuff too. Again, he already felt that Agassi had preferential treatment at Wimbledon. You know, he always got the center court there, and now he's talking about the fact that Agassi's getting calls and judgments because he's the American. And I think that's unfair.
At least the difference, Steek did in the first game. Becker's waited a couple sets, so he's had more experience. Hey, Wayne McEwen's Australian. I don't know how that works. Australians don't like Americans, do they?
Seal in the Becker box with Barbara Becker. And Agassi quickly to 40 love. Opening the third set, he's up 2 sets, winning both tie breaks. So a game at love for Andre Agassi to open the third. We're back on the stadium court. Andre Agassi, 1 love in the third set, has won 2 tie breaks, and definitely a little more heat there near at the end of the second set from Boris Becker, complaining to chair umpire Wayne McEwen of Sydney, Australia. Can he make it work for him, or will it work against him? One thing about Boris Becker is, you know, he's never quit. He'll be out there. In fact, here in the U.S. Open, he's come back from 2 sets down 8 times. 3 times at the U.S. Open, pardon me, 8 times in his career, and 3 times here at the Open, and once against Andre Agassi in the '89 Davis Cup semis. Whether any of that's going to be of use to him here, we'll find out. But he does know he came back against Agassi at Wimbledon.
It's clearly what he's got to keep telling himself. I was way down there. It's the last time we played. I'm serving big.
Hey, served great.
Haven't been broken. Down 2 sets. Don't bring that part up.
Remember when Michael Steek beat Stefan Edberg at Wimbledon the year he won it, and Edberg never dropped his serve. Happens when things get decided by tie breaks.
There's a risk with what Boris Becker did there. He hits his half volley, and you'll see here, you can see Boris in the replay. Actually, no, we're looking at Andre. Boris took a couple steps back again. That gives Agassi a little bit of the angle. He's calculating in that instant whether he thinks Agassi's going to have a big swing at it. Agassi had too much time there to move back. And to try to cut off his angle if possible, not give him a bigger one. And that's an effective serve right into the body. Becker trying to settle himself down again, appears to have done so. A couple big second serves.
He got it. So Boris Becker has evened things at 1-1 here in the third set. You're looking at the USDA National Tennis Center from our blimp. We are bringing you live U.S. Open men's semifinal action. And Andre Agassi has won 2 tie-break sets. Tim Ryan with Mary Carrillo and John McEnroe. Agassi. Earlier, Pete Sampras advanced to the championship match with a win over number 14 seeded Jim Courier, his fellow American, in 4 sets. Steffi Graf, in an emotionally charged women's championship match, defeated Monica Seles, who had such a glorious run coming back to the tennis tour. One tournament behind her, made it to the final, losing to Graf.
Graf said after her win that it was the best of her career.
15-all.
The happiest she's ever been, the biggest win she's ever achieved. To have a look at Becker again having to come up with some very difficult volleys to stay in these games. 15-all.
13-15.
Serving, John, has been remarkable, and we've had no breaks of serve.
Well, that's the story of this match, without a doubt. Both players have excellent first serve percentages. Andre with a lot of aces for him. Becker with 19. And the difference, there's the difference, I guess you'd have to say. Becker with a lot more unforced errors, although it's only been 7-6, 7-6. Seems closer than that.
And the thing about Boris Becker is that you feel he's peaked for the U.S. Open in the same way he tried to peak for Wimbledon. He's fit. I mean, so it's not as though he's giving up on this match, even 2 sets down. He's prepared hard for this U.S. Open. So he's going to hang around in this match and see if good things can happen.
14-13.
Tim, he's trying to figure out what to do with the Agassi first serve. That time he tried to step in and go for it. Just missed the line. Hit it well. It is a dilemma for him. Doesn't want to push it back because Agassi will take charge of the point.
Agassi holds for 2-1. We'll be back at the USTA National Tennis Center in just a moment. Point by point, little to choose, but Andre Agassi with a 2-set lead and a pair of tie breaks. Becker serving at 1-2 here on the third.
Thank you. Sits behind the server.
A lot of movement by the spectators. And it must be said, a lot of them have left since the conclusion of the women's championship match. We're now at 7 minutes after 7 Eastern time here in New York.
Need to draw for that?
Just long. Sampras over Courier earlier.
He's been a pretty good prognosticator, Sampras. He thought that Courier would beat Chang, even though Chang was seated much higher. And he has also picked Agassi to beat Becker.
He also picked McEnroe to beat Becker. So we don't want to, along with me and everyone else. So
Yeah.
I'm going to put him on a...
Good to bring up. 7 double faults for Becker.
I can hear him right now saying, no, I didn't, John. I thought he had a good chance.
Becker at left 30. Comes up with a big one.
I'd like to see a percentage of how often that happens in big matches. Becker plays a couple loose points and comes back and hit a bomb at love 30. Probably like 90% of the time.
And another big serve, even at 30 all.
That's 68% of the time he can do it at 15-30. Not quite the scissor kick of Sampras, but gets the job done. That was the return of the match right there. Boris trying to angle Andre off the court, so he steps forward at an angle himself to cut off Boris's serve.
Sets up break point.
And this is a big, big point for Boris Becker.
going into this match about how Becker is the kind of guy who can hurt Agassi because of his serving. Here he was forced to make a tough pickup volley and couldn't handle the heat of the Agassi backhand. But it's Agassi's serving that has been so impressive. He's only lost 20 points on serve. And that's in 14 service games. 2 tiebreakers.
15.
He's the one who's keeping it stingy.
And that previous passage, I just said, I'm going to hit it so hard that no matter how quick you are, you're not going to hit it in.
That's just a great knee bend on that backhand. Agassi lined himself up well. Shot it back at Becker. And again, it's not all about heat with Agassi. He's keeping that ball low. He's hitting it early. Another good way to rob somebody of time to prepare.
2 hours on the
passing shot that Agassi hits consistently. Connors can't even stay with him on that one. Maybe the return. Becker trying to apply the pressure once again, decides, okay, I'll try to hit this one shorter. Agassi steps forward, takes his time, pulls it up the line. A rare miss hit. Good time to hit it up 40 love.
Hit back for the game point to Andre Agassi in a 4-1 lead here in the 30s, up 2 sets. Great job, captains John McHugh and Dominic Minieri.
Take a look at this last backhand Boris hit before changing sides. Now that's a tough one to explain. A little bit discouraged there. Feet moving in all directions.
15 love for Becker, second serve. He's down 1-4 in 2 sets.
As strong and formidable a guy as Becker is physically on the court, I'm still surprised that he tries to cover so many of those very high backhands that Agassi directs to him. I mean, that's a hard thing to time. Pretty even on the winners, but the unforced errors much heavier on the side of Becker. Let's face it, Agassi has played a pretty clean semifinal match here.
Sure has. Relaxed, poised, big serves when he's needed them.
Oh, yeah.
40 love Becker. Again, he won't go away.
This point bordered on casual for these 2 players. Becker able to put that volley away, at least hold serve at the very least, and make Andre Agassi serve this one out. An easy game to Barker.
4 games to 2. Agassi leading.
Looking a little weary now physically. He did well to get back in this point. Decides to chip in charge. Doesn't hit that ball quite deep enough or hard enough, and never really was anywhere near that passing shot by Agassi.
Agassi 30 love and appears now to be headed to the championship in defense of his crown. Against Pete Sampras, he is 8-8. good on the hard courts in recent times, starting back at the Australian in '95. 4 consecutive matches on hard courts, and Agassi won 3 of those, including the last outing at the Canadian Open.
Keep in mind, Sampras won the first set in all 4 of those meetings, and Agassi still won 3 out of 4 of those matches.
And Becker knew this ball was in.
Because it was good, you couldn't see it, you know?
Becker.
We're so blind, we got to go back to Australia, you know that?
Now Boris is booking airlines for chair umpire Wayne McEwen. 30-15. Andre Agassi. Assault back to 30 all. Now the crowd here hoping to see a rally by Becker.
Even that move by
Stand this
Becker,
match.
a bit of a mental one, making Agassi know he thought it was in. But you didn't see Boris give him the point at 30 love. And now,
13
a couple
caution.
of seconds later, finds himself with a break point opportunity to get back in his 3rd set. The crowd getting quite into it now.
Now, we mentioned earlier in the day, they're somewhat fickle here at the National Tennis Center. They might have been cheering for Andre Agassi a few minutes ago, but they want more tennis. Now they love Boris Becker. She loves Boris Becker. There's the break for Becker. Third set.
Agassi leads
He said
4-3.
he won't go away, even though Agassi appears in control of the match.
Well, lo and behold, 30 love down, things appearing extremely bleak. Becker with a couple of nice moves, and now the crowd getting very into it, starting to chant Boris's name. And that's got to pump him up and get the adrenaline flowing.
Barbara's into it. Barbara Becker. I got a high five from Seal.
Monstrous game for Becker at that stage. Things looking bad, complaining to the umpire on Andre Agassi's behalf, apparently, but unnerving Andre just a little bit. Andre's still up 4-3 here. See if he can regroup and go after Becker's serve.
Finally, this stadium is alive. I think a lot of the energy got sucked out of it after that glorious women's final. Now, for the first time, the fans realize that this is a turning point, perhaps.
Only breaks of the match have occurred in this set. One by Agassi in game 4, one by Becker in game 7.
Becker feels he found one 113 miles an hour into the open water, the mid-court.
Agassi able to control that point with his forehand. Becker thought he had that point one with the big ace.
by Becker.
Boy, you're not kidding.
He didn't know quite what to do. He managed to make a nice move in the end. And that backhand volley saved him. Nice and short. Agassi just missing the pass. Just goes to show you, just stick your racket out, something good might happen. Harry Hopman, the great Davis Cup captain, taught me that as a little kid. Try to teach any player who ever played tennis, stick your racket out, you never know. Becker follows it up with a big first serve.
Barbara's back into the no view mode.
You know when it's close. Just look at Barbara. She's not watching. Close set.
Costly double fault. 30 all. 8 of those.
She should start watching. I mean, Boris broke serve the last game when she watched. It's all right. It's good luck now.
She makes it seem like this is the Indy 500 she's watching. It could be a crash at any moment. Yeah. That was a crash.
Honey, I love you even if you double fall.
Break point, Agassi. 3-4, Becker.
She's down there
Where is
somewhere.
She's gonna have to stand on her head if this goes 5 sets. Try every different position possible for good luck. Big as it gets out wide. No chance whatsoever for Andre Agassi. Serves up his 20th ace now.
Agassi thought it was wide. Back to deuce. Great fighter, Boris Becker. Championship in 1989. Last Grand Slam win in 1991. Wimbledon final this year. Love to show the tennis world he's capable of winning this championship and more. Boris Becker evens it at 4.
Agassi lucky to get that ball back, but he guesses right. Boris hits it right to him. Agassi can't line it up. A little surprised that he even had a chance, I think. And Becker with renewed life at 4 all now.
As we say about Becker, he takes himself very seriously. A 69-mile-an-hour serve from Agassi. And again, timed beautifully by Becker.
Boris Becker.
You just sense Becker knows If things are starting to go his way, and suddenly his game picking up, starting to hit out more, hit winners from the baseline. Agassi loved 30. You get a little over anxious and super hyped up. You made a comeback, love 30 seconds. So I'll just do the same thing I did at first point of this game. But Agassi made a good adjustment serving into the body. Little spin, slice, not just the kick. Boris couldn't time that as easily. Caught here, but he handled that one nicely. Good chip down the line. And Agassi unable to run that forehand down as well, and Becker on a roll right now.
One saved. Still a good idea to forget that information we had on the screen earlier about
a little premature there.
Agassi contest. May still occur, but Boris Becker trying to make us look bad. We'll be back at the USTA National Tennis Center in just a moment. Back at the stadium court, high drama, third set. Boris Becker down 2 tie-break sets. Leads here, 5-4 serving for the third set. Against the defending champion, Andre Agassi. Some folks have left, but the diehards are here wanting more tennis.
-15.
21 aces for 30-15.
Incredibly, Becker only 2 points from this third set. Ask me how he turned this around. One simple answer, us putting that graphic up. Sampras Agassi. Guy hasn't lost a point barely since.
He was down at 1-4 and a break in this third set when he made his turnaround. In addition to 2 sets, of course. Set point, 2 of them. Agassi draws to 40-30.
Once again, set up on that nice low return. Plenty of time here. Waits for Becker to lean to the left. pulls it up the line for a win. Still a set point for Boris, though. Make this 2-1. A whole new game. I saw it good. I was surprised. Boris actually was, I think, hoping, obviously, set point. It was very, very close. I thought it caught the line. Let's see if we can tell.
Looks good on that replay, but again, can't be absolutely positive.
No, it's not much of an angle for that.
The one that counts is... Becker's 22nd ace. And another set point.
You hear tennis is a game of inches. That's proof that's literally a game of inch is.
Fuzz. Game of fuzz.
That way we have a new definition. That's right. I'm sorry.
Breaks up Becker. 6-ball, new balls.
Music to the ears of Seal and Boris Becker and all the fans here.
A seal of approval.
A seal of approval. More tennis.
Thank you.
Agassi 2-1. They'll open the fourth set.
Pete Sampras is at home watching this, licking his chops just a little bit, that these guys are still out here now after 3 sets. Even if Becker comes back and wins, it'll be a 5-set win for him. How much will be left in the legs the next day? Andre out there longer than he wanted to. Should have been off the court by now, 2 sets and 4-1 up.
And John, worth noting one more time that Andre Agassi, since losing to Boris Becker in the semis of Wimbledon this year, has won 25 straight matches.
Brooke Shields looking a little concerned here now, but her man is still up 2-1.
He's got an awful lot of tennis in him.
You mentioned that in a positive or negative way?
In a negative way, at this point.
Because there's a positive to the spin if you wanted to. He knows how to win recently. Brad's looking a little distressed, though.
Oh, yeah, Agassi was what, 8 points away from tomorrow.
Yeah, Brad's a good catcher anyway, even when things are going well.
Just when things get to be a little bit of trouble, hit that full swinging forehand volley.
The thing is, Andre Agassi has some bad memories. The freshest one about Becker is at Wimbledon this year, but he also had a 2-0 lead against Boris Becker in that '89 Davis Cup and lost it in 5.
Great shot. What a great shot on the run backwards, throwing up that lob. Look where it comes down.
Well, it's a good idea by Agassi to take the initiative, come into nap at Becker, as you said. Couldn't have placed it any better if he had tried. Just played a defensive lob that landed right inside the line. And the momentum has changed. Risky play, though. Basically knew when he ran around this back and he's going to have to hit a winner from that position. Agassi just takes a step forward, half volleys it from the baseline for a winner, back to deuce. See, that would be a good return against most guys. Have a chance of winning the point, not against Agassi. He takes that ball easily. Boris deep down knew that was a little wide.
Well, he didn't kick up much of a fuss. This one definitely is wide.
Agassi holds on, staving out the break point. 1-love, fourth set. Becker, love one, fourth set down 2-1. Defending champion Andre Agassi. 1-2 tie breaks. No breaks of serve. Becker came back from 1-4 down to win the third set, 6-4.
And somewhere on Long Island right now, Pete Sampras has got out his party hats and streamers. Saying, keep going, guys. Keep going. They play at 4 o'clock for the whole thing. The winner of these two plays Pete tomorrow for the title.
Pete had far from an easy match against his buddy Jim Courier. Emotions flying there.
Yeah, but that was 18 hours ago.
Andre a little bit sluggish in the movement on that particular backhand. Rarely do you see him out of position. Maybe those legs feel a little bit of fatigue. Hard to imagine they're not.
Almost for Agassi.
Well, there's a lesson to be learned here. Always expect one more ball. Andre was standing there just a touch, watching to see what would happen, figuring Boris would put that away. He had a real shot at that point. It was a 15-all point. Big difference mentally, 15-30, 30-15 for both players. He's thinking to himself, it could be 15-40 right about now. Especially since he didn't do enough with that backhand pass that precipitated that next shot.
Come on, Boris, pump it up.
Oh! Once again, a big penetrating second serve. Well placed with some good kick on it. Agassi reacting a little bit late once again. Becker not doing enough with this volley. Had a chance to really go after it. Let it drop too much. Agassi made him pay. Pace beating Becker there.
Number 23 at 111 miles an hour. Considering how hard it is to play Andre Agassi, how much heat you've got to take, how much movement you've got to do, that this guy Becker is still able to come up with those kind of serves and those kind of first volleys this late in the day.
Talking about
says an
relaxing
awful lot
volley.
Yeah. But it says a lot about his fitness level. I mean, he deserves to be making these kind of shots because he's prepared. He's trained hard for this U.S. Open. And doesn't have nearly as many matches in as Agassi. Agassi has decided that for next year he's going to cut way down on the matches he signs, the tournaments he signs up for.
That's because of the toll it's taken on his body. He's not happy about the fact that he's had to play all these matches. Clearly happy that he's won the tournaments.
But you know, in the past, John, he would tank one or two. I mean, he would tank matches, you know, to give himself a chance to breathe. He doesn't really do that anymore. He signed up for 4 tournaments this summer, won them all. He's going to try to play 15 tournaments in '96, and that's taking away a handful from this year. He hasn't lost before the quarterfinals of any tournament he's played in '95.
Rolling to 40 love here at 1-all in the fourth.
May have to eavesdrop a little on the Agassi corner and just catch up on what Andre's feeling after the third set loss.
2-1, Andre Agassi in the fourth. We'll be back at the USTA National Tennis Center in just a moment.
Agassi leads 2-1. Becker.
Well, some Statues of Liberty have come up here to catch the the final action in this second men's semifinal. Why there were so many of those ladies?
As a native New Yorker, it pains me to reveal that the Statue of Liberty is technically in New Jersey waters.
A very upsetting fact, I suppose, for a New Yorker.
Not for New Yorkers who moved to Florida. Right? Now all of a sudden the Statue of Liberty is in New Jersey. Talk about fair weather fan.
Sorry I brought it up.
That's just 3 straight great shots there. First you have the Agassi return. Blistered it nice and low, but that stretch. Incredible that he even got it back. And Agassi finishes it off.
Love 30 at 1-2.
Keeping that 90% intact. Love 30. There's Gil Reyes, Andre's strength coach, I should say. Good friend of his.
Give a lot of credit to this guy, because Agassi...
Better, because if he's either way, you should give him a lot of credit.
He's actually a very soft-spoken man. He's kind of scary looking. A lot of people think he's Andre's bodyguard, but he worked at UNLV in Vegas for years, worked for that college, and Andre Agassi wandered in there sort of aimlessly a couple of years back. He could use the weight room there, and Gil kind of put him through his paces, and now he's his personal trainer. He's got a house on the Agassi compound, lives there with his wife and his 3 daughters. 24 aces for Boris Becker. Reyes didn't really follow tennis, and he didn't understand why all the teeny boppers were all over the weights when Agassi would wander in there and start training.
Boris Becker evens things at 2-all on serve here in the fourth. Down 2-1.
2-all. I'll tell you, that's not an easy thing to do what Becker just did there. I mean, he makes it seem easy. Love 30 down on his serve, kick it up to another gear. Especially against Agassi, who's the best returner in the game. Sure came back easily in that one.
Becker didn't have a break against Agassi until the third set. Scored 2 there to win at 6-4. Pete Sampras awaits the winner of this match tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. Championship Sunday here on CBS, the men's final. 30.
Agassi yet has that different gear on the serve, so he's got to make up for it on the ground. And that's a good way to start right there. Becker putting the pressure on. Maybe could have hit that a little bit deeper, but Agassi had to come up with a big pass.
Becker, and he used it. Threw off the timing of Agassi. 2 break points. Two of 9 in this department. One save by Agassi. Tim Ryan with John McEnroe. Barry Carello, Stadium Court, the National Tennis Center. Quite a match into the 4th. We're at 2-all. Andre Agassi up 2-1 on a pair of tie breaks.
Thank you.
And break point opportunity still left for Becker here. And a second serve? No. First serve.
Played the big points well on their own serves. Slim pickings to get a break here in this match. Agassi placing the serve beautifully. It really matters. Even if Becker gets that serve back, Agassi presumably is going to be in charge of the point. He's got those great ground strokes to back it up.
Shields. Doing a Barbara Becker impression there for a minute or two.
That Agassi could create a winning forehand off of this shot is just unbelievable.
You hit a return like Becker just did. You feel so good about yourself.
Yeah.
What an effort. Stretch, get it back nice and deep, and
he routines it.
Agassi hits an inside-out forehand winner.
Good effort by Agassi on serve for 3-2 in the 4th. There's the score. Night has fallen in Manhattan, and out here at the National Tennis Center, we're under the lights with the second men's semifinal. Lights were turned on around 5 o'clock under overcast skies, and Boris Becker has put on quite a show here to get back into this match. Serving at 2-3 now in the 4th set, down 2-1. Andre Agassi, defending champion.
15 all. Well, it was Andre's turn to improvise. You don't see this too often.
We always talk about Agassi having the best eyes in the business and reacting so quickly, but that one really fooled him. 79 mile an hour into the body.
Becker must have figured he was reacting slowly because he only hit about 100-mile serve there. This time Agassi makes a quick adjustment. Becker unable to stretch for that volley. He better start pounding in the big one again.
I gotta think, John, that you'd rather play a big server like Becker in the daytime and not under the lights. Agassi has had some problems under the lights anyway. Peter Korda played him pretty close at night, and so did Alex Correia, who took him to 5.
Well, if you ask Bjorn Borg, he might agree with you, but I personally didn't have a problem at night. But you do hear sometimes the players who just prefer to play during the day, maybe based on fitness as opposed to really the lights. That's just more a little additional excuse not to want to do it. Get it over with during the day. I can't believe that the lights wouldn't be as good to return serve.
40-15. Of course, this did start as a day match. We had a 4-setter, Sampras over Courier. We had a 3-setter, Graf and Celis.
Well, that's something different. If you start during the day, you go to night.
Yeah.
Another
Boris
big
Becker,
serve.
huge. 3-all. 25 aces.
In 1985, the biggest serve I had ever seen to that point. When he first broke on the scene, it's only 17.
He's talking with his group. Is there something like coaching too? So watching him, it's all right then. He's standing right in front.
Becker now accusing Agassi of getting coached by Brad Gilbert. I'm not sure there's any real coaching involved. He's just chatterbox, this guy. He's always talking. Brad Gilbert is only about 20 feet away from him right there. And now Gilbert's going to be aggravated. Gilbert was very upset with the comments Becker made towards Agassi, those Wimbledon comments. And Agassi said he was very disappointed in him as well. Every time he gets aggravated, Becker,
he does something.
Yeah, tends to pick up his game a little bit. Yeah.
I must say, he looks the fresher of the two at the moment on a physical basis. All that hard work the past year and a half, maybe pay off today. That ball just dropped in.
All.
The intensity level on the rise at the moment. Becker once again trying to put the pressure on. That was very close there. Maybe caught the outside of the line. But it was called in. That's all that matters. 15 all. That's what Agassi would dearly love. A couple easy first serve points.
There's the Agassi box.
The higher seated player gets that box. The Agassi corner. Agassi, of course, won in the world, so he gets that box. The Becker camp is all the way on the other side.
Down at the other end of the court, same side of the court, but the opposite end, down where Becker is now, except across from him because he's lined up to receive. There you go. Serving by Agassi again. 4-3. CBS Sports coverage continues after this word from your local station. Super Saturday continues. Boris Becker battling Andre Agassi, the defending champion here. 15-love. 3-4 in the 4th set. Agassi up 2-1. Tim Ryan with Mary Carrillo and John McEnroe. Thrilling tennis here, and it's gotten better as it's gone on. Super Saturday event because we had a 4-set battle between Sampras and Courier in the first men's semifinal. It began at 11 a.m. this morning, and then the dramatic Steffi Graf victory over Monica Seles. 3 sets for the women's crown.
Steffi Graf in the press conference afterwards was asked 4 straight questions about her inaccessibility to her father, and she kind of busted down, got a little jammed up, and the press conference kind of ended right there.
Tough times for a great champion, and great credit to her to
No kidding.
pull it all together, play so well, keep her concentration in the light of her family circumstances.
I'm not quite sure what happened at that point.
Becker quickly out to 40 love.
Like he didn't play the shot. I think he heard him miss it and thought it was going to go long. The ball bounced well inside the line. Still up 40-15. Well, that's 2 points that he could or should have won after being up 40 love. Let's see if it comes back to haunt him. Agassi got in that backhand nicely. Not a lot of pace on it, but well placed.
Becker trying to even things at 4-all here in the 4th. What a reaction by Agassi. Get back for that.
This time Becker plays a big-time point. Hits what he thinks is a good deep volley, but Agassi, look at his eyes. Watches that ball right until he makes contact. Rifles across court to make it deuce.
He never just throws it back either, and he's trying for winners all the time. Nailed that.
Thank you.
Long. Just long.
Bad break for Andre Agassi. A second serve, a makeable shot for someone as talented as Agassi. And Agassi has had no break points yet in this set. He actually had a shot at this one, didn't he?
He knows he should have won that point, but Becker didn't do much with that first volley, so both players had their chances.
Becker, by the way, is 0 of 3 in breakpoint chances in this set. That's number 11. Becker lives and dies by his big second serve. You'll see it. You'll see it, especially like in tie breaks, and they can come in clusters as well with him. His whole attitude is, I've won a lot of matches serving that big. If I've got to lose a couple, you know, I could live with that. .122 coming up on the 3-hour mark of this match. A bruising confrontation. And Becker is still in there. As John says, looking fitter than his opponent.
Both players have served big today.
Agassi ran miles to make that winning point.
You got that right, Tim. He covered a lot of ground at this point. Finally, once again, we've seen that, I think, once earlier, that one-handed backhand.
And he came from the far corner.
Both players hanging tough today.
And Becker big. What a game.
We've seen this today, that cross-court dipper. Andre's got that great preparation. Maybe Becker in the old days, this is the shot he would have dove on. Not anymore. Becker keeps coming.
The 3-hour mark has been reached. Remember, Becker had to go 4 hours and 7 minutes with Patrick McEnroe in his last match, the quarterfinal. He still looks fit and strong.
Well, he had 2 days to recover from that. No luxury if he makes the final. Has to play again tomorrow. Got to feel as this match progresses that whoever wins, Sampras is going to be the slight favorite. Certainly going to be the fresher of the two, I feel. Agassi been through an awful lot. We've talked about that this summer. Can he let it all hang out for one more? Can Becker come back here?
Boris Becker, with great determination, evens things at 4-all in the fourth set. They're on serve. Well, at the very beginning of this match, I asked Mary Carrillo and John McEnroe how they thought it would go. How do you think it's going to go now, Mary?
Beats me. It's been a long day.
There's some expert analysis. Let's try him.
Well, no, you know what Mark Twain said about an expert? He says an expert is just some guy from out of town.
Well said.
Well, both players showing a lot of heart and a lot of guts, determination today. Becker looks a little bit fresher mentally and physically. But the fact that Agassi has won those 4 tournaments, the confidence he's built on the hard course through the summer could help him through. Certainly he's sky-high confidence. And also remembering the fact that he had beaten Boris 8 times in a row previous to that Wimbledon loss. So
is so special about the U.S. Open, unique to it, especially at night, where the fans, and remember Jimmy Connors in '91, his great run, the fans, I think, at this event, more than in any other field, they can help someone win. I mean, you feel them.
Agassi 5 games to 4 in the fourth set. Boris Becker serving at 4-5. Will try to stay in this match against Andre Agassi, up 2 sets to 1. Agassi winning 2 tie breaks. Becker winning the 3rd set 6-4.
Agassi now. He's in 2 games, the last set up 4-1, but now 5-4, only 4 points in the match. Turn up the heat a little bit, say to himself, just this one game. 3 hours and 5 minutes, but it could all be over in 2 if I play a couple big points.
Super Saturdays have sometimes been like Super Bowls. Didn't live up to their expectations. Today, we had a great-looking lineup coming in, and it has been a truly Super Saturday.
His forehand clearly shocked Becker. The pace. How he went after that from that position. Just phenomenal forehand under pressure.
Now he's 2 points from Pete.
Return.
Well, what can you say? That is just monstrous.
3 match points for Andre Agassi.
No break points in this whole set until this game. Now he's got 3.
So much for who feels fresher mentally or physically. Agassi showing that talent can win out at any time. He's got a shot at the second serve. Get this long, tough match over with.
Cursory handshake for Boris Becker. A relieved Andre Agassi was brilliant in victory against a determined opponent.
His best friend, Perry Rogers, who handles his company, Agassi Enterprises.
Let's go to Andrea Joyce. She's got the winner.
All right, Andre, congratulations. A hard-fought win out there for you. What was going through your mind in that 3rd set when you were just 2 games from the match?
Well, I mean, you're 2 games from the match, but still a lot of tennis. I hadn't lost my serve the whole match, and I hadn't broken until that 3rd, so I knew that, you know, it'd be weird if I win a whole match without losing my serve once. So I was kind of somewhat, you know, trying to gear up just to stay intense, and I really have to say he played some great games to break me back.
You don't have a whole lot of time to recover for tomorrow. What about your match tomorrow with Pete?
I got plenty of time, and Pete, if you're watching, I'm coming.
All right. Thanks so much, Andre. Congratulations. We'll see you tomorrow. Back to you in the studio, Pat.
All right, Andrea, thank you very much. Tonight on CBS, stay tuned next for Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, followed by Pete Sampras and that man right there. Talk about the women's dream matchup today. We have our dream men's matchup, the #1 seed and the #2 seed. They'll play for the title here as championship weekend reaches its climax. Andre Agassi takes his bows, well deserved. We'll see him tomorrow, and we hope we'll see you as well. Good day, everybody.